Bad news. Errol Spence versus Sebastian Fundora. If you were looking forward to the fight, it looks like it's not going to happen. The king of boxing talk has returned to deliver the news. ESPN has reported Mike Coppinger, Sebastian Fundora, Errol Spence title fight is now off. Sources tell ESPN Fundora, junior middleweight champ, now seeking a new opponent for the first defense of his two titles. The fight was originally planned for October, then March 29th. Now it does not appear that it was going to be going on. Crawford put these eyes and it put well. So I don't know what that means. Now they're saying that Charles Conwell is one of the fighters being looked at to replace Errol Spence. Interesting times. Charles Conwell, Golden Boy, one fighter being considered for the Fundora title shot. Right? Gustavo said one of the major reasons the WBO would not sanction Fundora Spence due to the latter. One, Errol's been inactive for a year and 5 months. 2, a TKO loss in his last bout. 3, he's not rated at 154. And 4, he has never fought in a 154-pound division. Ruling otherwise would be a disservice to the rest of 154-pound world-rated contenders. So this reporter believes this was the right move, and ESPN does also. Hard to argue this logic from the WBO president. Only the WBC title was set to be on the line for Fundora Spence. So there you have it. I don't know what happened. Errol's been out the mix. Errol Spence said the other day, I'm trying to give you the best of me. You know, he does those cryptic tweets. Everyone thought it was going to be Fundora, but now we have to wait and see what Fundora does decide. For me, I mean, Errol, I didn't like the fight based on the inactivity and coming off the loss, a bad loss to Crawford. So I get it. Errol's Mr. No tune-ups and stuff like that, but my boxing brain is just realistic. And just like Devin Haney coming off the Ryan fight, I think, me personally, you should take a tune-up. However, and I want you guys to pay attention, Errol says, I'm Mr. No tune-ups, so you kind of have to live, with that, right? My point is, a tune-up in these situations is probably the way the fighter should go, coming off bad bruising losses or grueling performances, etc. But again, when you put that out there and say, hey, I don't take tune-ups, if I ain't good enough to beat you, then, oh, well, I shouldn't be boxing. Then that just puts the pressure on you. Same thing with Devin Haney. He did the same thing Errol's doing, where he's like, yo, I don't need a tune-up after the Ryan fight. So that's when my opinion changes. My taste, yeah, after the Crawford fight, you should end a long layoff and injuries and everything he's dealt with the car crash and stuff, you should take a tune-up. But so I wasn't really, I want to see Errol Spence return. So if he had decided that he was going to fight Fundora, then I was with it, because I like Errol. I like the way he fights, good dude, etc. So it'll be interesting to see what's next for Errol Spence, and now it leaves a void for Fundora. And it's weird because Crawford had posted, you know, these eyes and googly eyes and stuff like that, but he was undisputed from beating Errol, had the WBO super champion belt at welterweight. He authorized or allowed Errol to fight Fundora and for Fundora to take an interim fight. But why doesn't Crawford, instead of doing these googly eyes, why doesn't he step up and fight Fundora? That seems like an easy fix, because if you want to fight Canelo, you know, you should be able to get past a Fundora. And I think that would actually hype a Canelo fight, right? Mexican-American, I believe Fundora is Mexican-American, right? Fight aggressive style, an inside fighter who likes to squabble. You have the golden ticket with the WBO from being undisputed. So if you move up, you have dibs on the Fundora. Crawford's putting these eyes and talking about, well, but to me, this would be perfect for Crawford to step in and fight Fundora. And then, you know, maybe you can, because Fundora is not like Madrimov, he's gonna feint you and tricky. Fundora's kind of like, he's in his mode. You dig? So for me, I like that. I think this would be, if you want to make some noise more than the Madrimov fight, that's the way you do it, in my opinion. That's the way you do it, where you fight a Fundora at least, even though he's only at 54, you know, and build some excitement around your brand, see if you can knock him out like Brian Mendoza did, and then start pushing for a September Canelo fight. That's my personal opinion on the matter. Crawford says, should have taken the fight when you had the chance. Now it's over with. I don't even know if that's to Errol or Fundora or whoever. I don't know. I don't know what Crawford's saying. So all this like cryptic stuff, I think Crawford could be a fill-in, but they're talking about Charles Conwell.
Looking up to celebrities, nigga.
You know, they're talking about Charles Conwell. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Unfortunate if you were really looking forward to Errol coming back and fighting Fundora. Again, I don't know what's going on. The WBO wouldn't rank Errol. They didn't like him fighting for their title, so he would have only been able to fight Fundora for the WBC. So maybe PBC decided like, hey, this is off. We wanted to make it worthwhile. The other thing is, to my understanding, Fundora being unified champion, he didn't want to fight in Errol Spence's backyard, which is a place where you could have made a lot of money at AT&T Stadium with that fight. So it could be some logistics like that. Like it would only be one belt, Errol long layoff, you know, dangerous fight for both. Can't do it in Texas, you know, so maybe they have other plans. I don't know. We got to wait and see what PBC comes up with and what happens next with Fundora. But for me, like I said, the idea I pitched makes the most sense in the world. Crawford, fight Fundora because you're next in line for Fundora. Why should it be Charles Conwell? And he's a good fighter. He's looking like a beast, but he doesn't bring what Crawford brings to the table because he's new. You know what I mean? So to be honest, Fundora Crawford would be a great fight. And if Errol was forced to bow out or it didn't make sense or he couldn't get sanctioned with the WBO, I feel like that should be Crawford. But, you know, what do I know? Let me know what you guys think. Fundora, I feel bad for him because, you know, he's like on the sideline and he probably just want to scrap. You know, he's seen his sister fight, so he probably just want to fight. And then, you know, delays, thinking you got a fight deal or whatever with Errol Spence, and for whatever reason, it doesn't come to pass. For more boxing news, subscribe to the man. I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close.